Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with a player ranked #1 in the world by Dark. In the blue, the final boss. It's Dark. Up against the most creative Terran player out there. In the red, the Admiral. It's GuMiho. A best of 5 Terran versus Zerg grand finals of the Korean StarCraft 2 League, where once again Dark will attempt to undermine GuMiho's strategies, and GuMiho will try to rise above the competition. Just like I try to rise above the competition posed by the algorithm every day, by begging you to like and maybe even subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,449 likes on this video, on this cast. We can stave off Dark's retirement. And I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Reaper comes in, drone, wiggles around, but he gets in its face and shoots it down. Wow. Cold-blooded, I assume cold-blooded murder to start things off. Are Zerg lizards? Or are they more like mammals? Do bugs have blood? And more important questions answered at some point. Or maybe never. Either way. The Reaper hides in the corner from the Vengeful Queen, and just like the Starport hides in the corner from also the Vengeful Queens, but probably a less immediate threat. Okay. GuMiho. That is... I dare not dream. But what could it be? Liberator? Medevac? Actually, this is probably for a Medevac Hellion drop. But why stop there? It is GuMiho, which means... Oh, it's a Liberator. But that doesn't mean you have to stop at the Liberator, GuMiho. You are the Admiral, after all, and an Admiral needs a fleet. That's kind of the implicate. And there it is! The Fusion Core! I dared not dream, but I did a quantitative analysis of GuMiho, and he came up with a big thumbs up. That's how quantitative works. Battlecruiser Rush to start things off on Oceanborn, as GuMiho will be sailing towards the main, and the queens are growing in number, but little do they know how big the danger will be. Roach is on the way as Dark looking to zone out. He didn't have any overlords on GuMiho's side of the map. This Liberator gonna come in bright and early, before even you'd usually get a defensive spore, as Dark demonstrating right now. Puts down the spore crawl, but the Liberator already going to work. Hellion sharking around. And every moment of this is buying time and space for GuMiho to warp it with his Battlecruiser. Battlecruiser begins. Cyclones doubled up with the reactor. And Dark is still in the himself about this. He has no idea. He doesn't even know. Well, he knows there's a starport. I'm sure he's a bit suspicious. Pat on the back from one of the queens. And now the Hellion's darting in, but the roaches will zone out. Grenade bounced a couple roaches to the side. Ignoring this. Got 2 more roaches. Cyclones dueling. But getting hot and heavy to start as the Hellions come back around, trying to outflank the roaches, which are trying to break their way out. Liberator coming back to defend, but GuMiho is the one surrounding the Zerg. And the Battlecruiser may be scouted by the drone that is about to come down to the 4th base. He found it! He found the starport! Guys! Hello! He's going for the tech lab, but that's not gonna solve the problem here, as the Battlecruiser has arrived. And you don't need the tactical jump in when you're already here. Your model cannon is on the way back at home. Liberator mildly inconveniencing an overlord. The Cyclones will do more. And Brenda, call everyone! Who uses phones nowadays, Susan? Just text me. And I'll ignore that too. Don't look at that! The Queen's coming down to defend. Roach is dueling on the backside, trying to deal with the Hell clones. And actually, there should be enough roaches to deal with this. Not even a lair done. The Battlecruiser just right-clicked on the base. The hatchery will fall with no cancel. And the Liberator at the natural as GuMiho is tearing him apart right now. Spore Crawler coming in. Going to try to... he's killed 3 drones. Battlecruiser jumps away. GuMiho floated away his starport. And he's just going to rebuild the tech lab at the next base, which I'm going to assume will be... Oh, wait, what? He jumped to the natural. A bold move. And almost a suicidal one, but he's able to skirt away before the queens are able to side off the creep. And the roaches again will chew on the depot wall and find something a little meatier inside. The SCVs are pulled, and there's actually nothing but a Battlecruiser and a few Hellions for GuMiho, so Dark will be getting some damage done as the Hellions somewhat paradoxically will try to get as close as possible to the roaches to maximize their damage. More Cyclones coming down. Battlecruiser also pretending to participate in the group activity. And, okay. All right. Well, GuMiho, in absolutely on-brand GuMiho fashion, is building a second Battlecruiser. He's getting Cyclone speed, Hurricane thrusters here on Oceanborn. Wait, is it engines or thrusters? And it doesn't really matter. The fact that we had a patch changing the name to be more lore accurate, we should have a patch changing Protoss to be removed from the game to be lore accurate. That's the next one. Check out the video. 2 armories on the way. GuMiho taking us to McDonald's. And charting a course towards those much stronger Lake Cave units. Battlecruiser sliding on in. Yamato cannon is online. You can see the cannon itself lit up down the center once it's upgraded. And it was just Karen, it's fine. The Overlords trying to provide a target that isn't drones, succeeding for the most part. Spore Crawler and the roaches again. Just assume there are always like 12 roaches waiting to show up in GuMiho's base at the worst possible time for him. Meanwhile, the Battlecruiser taking a bruising, but now it's cruising on out of there. And GuMiho again with a combat jump. Jumps to the 4th, where there's no anti-air. Oh, Hydra's over here to cosplay a unit that can actually hit air. So far, doing an okay job. But now, maybe a Ravager with the Battlecruiser in a weird spot because tactical jump is very much on cooldown. But another Battlecruiser comes in! Jimmy, we don't usually do this, but I think it's finally time we get a little bit more creative. Hurry up, Jimmy! Do the thing! Two Battlecruisers. 3 Battlecruisers! As GuMiho continues to make his way, 20 HP, 7 kills, 0 fucks on that Battlecruiser. Another one getting driven back. And GuMiho's starport, after all its hard work, the roaches unfortunately can't shoot. Oh my god, that's a lot of mech. Battlecruisers scattered throughout. As GuMiho locks down his base. Blue Flame, 2 more command centers. The industrial revolution of factories. All coming together. Meanwhile, Dark, he's rolled with the punches, and I'm sure he's pretty upset about it. As dealing with Battlecruisers always feels like a pain with a massive side dish of bullshit. Battlecruisers continue their efforts, but Dark is maxed out. The rocks never... Even some of the Hydras do their melee animation, which still benefits from melee attacks. Fun fact. But, does circumvent Guardian Shield. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're facing Protoss with your Hydras, what you should do is get in melee range of their sentries. Alright. Jimmy. And here comes Dark. Vipers help him cut through the center line. There's no ghost to speak of, and nobody likes speaking of them. The Battlecruisers in play, yanks one in, doesn't stop the Yamato cannon. One cruiser down, but the Hydras are getting decimated. The tank line is strong, but the Roach Hydra biomass looking good. Battlecruiser jumps away last second. What a save! 19 more Hydras on the way. Spread out, but run away! And the Hydras lambasted over the field, and Dark plummets to a similar supply as GuMiho, and that army value. 2 Battlecruisers survived the engagement. 19 more Hydralists are on the way, but the first 36 Hydralists didn't have such a great time against it. But 11 Swarm Hosts are certainly bringing the Battlecruiser counters to a middle here. As while the Flying Locust cannot hit them, the ground army has been thinned out dramatically. I'm still feeling pretty okay for GuMiho in this scenario, but mostly I'm just excited to see Battlecruisers that aren't in 4v4 in Gold League, so... And again, with he yanks in another tank with his dying breath. But Hydras are not an anti-air unit. I don't care what the advertising says. He doesn't have Corruptors. He has some Queens, which are an anti-air unit, unfortunately very vulnerable to Yamato and, you know, everything else, and joint pain. Without Corruptors, Dark is mostly racing against the clock here, as the Terran army gets stronger and stronger. The mech upgrades are continuing. The Swarm Hosts are a definite swerve. We'll see how GuMiho handles this first wave, because now he knows the Swarm Hosts are on the field and can react accordingly. The first wave doesn't get much more than annoying a starport and forcing a command center to lift. GuMiho doesn't really dip in supply, but Dark has so much across the board. And oh, the Hydras again, but the Battlecruiser simply jumps away. Another Battlecruiser serving as quite a tanky boat that will absorb the vast majority of the damage and allow GuMiho to crush the rest of the army as he has 11 Cyclones on the way. Only one Battlecruiser has died so far. Dark has now lost twice as much Vespene gas. Spire finally admitting that Hydras are just not gonna get the job done. The Queens continue throughout. Nidus Swarm Host. A Swarm Host rain down into the natural. Dark is probably the best Swarm Host player in the world. I mean, that's a pretty long list of things he's best at, according to Dark, of course. But always using them pretty much the second they come off cooldown, while minimizing risk otherwise. They're one of the biggest supply traps of any unit in the game. They only get the uptime of the Locust is only about 30 to 35% of the cooldown. So you need to make it work, and they're immensely fragile. Hellions, Hellbats can easily roast them before you get any damage done. So making sure those Swarm Hosts are actually valuable, as opposed to keeping you from ever having enough army supply to fight whatever this is critically important. What's also critically important is Battlecruisers are cool. Like and subscribe for more profound analysis. The Locust will drop, but not a single tank is sieged. Well, at least until a bit of an odd siege timing. I think it was more of a panic siege there. If he had stayed unsieged, I think that would have... He's rebuilt. He's back to Battlecruisers. It's like, you know what unit hasn't failed me in this game? The Battlecruisers. Fungals are huge, but the tanks will siege. And the Roach Hydra is forced back. There are 3 Vipers on the field. The Swarm Hosts are still either in the Nidus or somewhere nearby. They're wherever's most dangerous to GuMiho. Between Vipers, Infestors, Swarm Hosts, and the ground army, there are no ghosts from GuMiho. As divisive as they are, they serve a purpose, and that purpose is stopping those Zerg spellcasters from absolutely ruining your day and murdering your entire army. Dark getting adrenal glands even though he doesn't have a single Zergling on the field. I appreciate that. Takes down the planetary fortress with the Locust, but now the Swarm hosts are on cooldown. Everything sieges up. Where are the Vipers? When the center of the map fell, where were the Vipers? When the Battlecruisers attacked, where were the Vipers? And now, for the final battle, where are the Vipers? They're in a very odd position to start, trying to come in. Massive blinding clouds across the board. Most of the tanks unable to see 2 feet in front of them. And now we'll run from it. Another blinding cloud. But the Battlecruisers are backstopping all this. Battlecruisers obliterating the Queens. Battlecruisers defending the front line. And GuMiho is continuing to strafe his way towards victory. Yes, Dark is remaxed out. Another Fungal, a wave of corrosive bound knocks out a couple tanks, but the Battlecruisers leading the charge. The Admiral. Well, Dark has so much in the bank, and the Swarm hosts continue. Again, he's so good. Sir Richard and his band of Swarm host brethren getting into all the places that Terrans don't want them to be. And the Swarm hosts are really the difference. The Swarm host, he lifts up more command centers than some Bronze League heroes build. But the Swarm hosts keep forcing GuMiho back. He can't press his advantage with this ridiculously strong mech army. And remember, Dark has Neural Parasite. And GuMiho has so few upgrades in general. He has Blue Flame, Cyclone Speed, Yamato Cannon, and +2 mech weapons and armor. He's working on +3 here. But Dark has 3/3 and money in the bank. So as excited as I am for GuMiho's full metal Terran here, there's going to be some real opportunities for Dark to take advantage of those Battlecruisers. And here come the Swarm hosts. He knocks out 3 orbital commands. The fleet is, well, that's looking like a mighty juicy target here. And the Hydras, oh, jumps! God. He gets out of there. GuMiho has only lost 1 Battlecruiser this entire game. Now, I'm not exactly sure how the unit loss tab. I'm just a bit of foreshadowing. But if GuMiho loses a Battlecruiser while it's neural parasited, does it count as a loss for him? I would assume so, but it might be one of those quirks. And I have my suspicions how this is going to end up, because Dark is still maxed out. GuMiho's had a lot of fun going around the world with the Battlecruisers, but Dark has not lost a Swarm host. GuMiho keeps losing ground while not being able to take a meaningful amount of Darks. Oh no. Wait. The Infestors are still out of turret range. Thing is, everything's been cleared out. Even if these bases didn't have resources, all the turrets, all the detection, how many? There's only 4 orbitals left on the field. Not enough to just be scanning left, right, and center. He's trying to bait in. Oh, he's using that knight as his bait. That's bait right there. Oh, he wants the Battlecruisers to come kill it. I think GuMiho's aware of the Infestors as well. Oh, there it is! And he grabs 1, he grabs 2! Yamato Cannon's ready! And GuMiho, before the fleet can be turned against itself, will tap out of the game. A bit cowardly, GuMiho. But as Dark commandeers his cruisers, he's able to turn the battle around. So, you know, for those who are disappointed, we could say that Battlecruisers still won that game. Just not the way maybe we were hoping for. Dark uses the greatest strength of GuMiho's army against him. And as reluctant as I am to say it, ghosts were probably needed there as an option against it. But I do, that's part of the reason I love GuMiho, is he never lets good strategy get in the way of good games for the fans. Game 2, post-youth. Yes, describing my target demographic. And both these players, to be honest. And the map. As we chrono boost, the SCV is looking even more intense when they're at extra speed. Proxying another building across the map. Well, Dark spotted.
Hello there.
A drone comes down, though it's a little late. I think partially looking for any extra racks, because sometimes players will build one or two and then add another one a little further back. And the amount of barracks very much matters. Is it a... I don't need to stop talking when GuMiho's SCVs move around. But it feels necessary because this is GuMiho, remember, so... Hey, shh. Let him cook. So he doesn't have a factory yet. Dark attempts, well, he sneaks into the extractor to dodge the hits. And oh my, the Reaper's very murderous. Even more than usual, it seems. Feels like we might be seeing another proxy starport. Get in there. Sneaks away. Second Reaper comes in, GuMiho. Pulls one back, and gonna go for the kill, but the Queen comes out to shut it down. And quite an annoying start for Dark, but not any sort of critical damage. He's able to get his base up. GuMiho, this is post-youth, so you can get a second base rather easily. I appreciate this. This is one of those things that not enough players do. The Barracks Lord. That thing has way more HP than Overlord, and it actually moves faster. Fun fact. It doesn't give you supply this patch, but the Barracks Lord, especially off a proc, like you could. Oh, well, you lost a Reaper, which is less than ideal, but the biggest danger for GuMiho right now is Dark doing an unexpected timing. And you don't want to have to hedge your bets. You don't have to build a bunker or a siege tank. Just in the off chance that, or not so off chance, that Dark goes for a Rochal. So instead of spending a few hundred minerals trying to cover all your bases, you could just spend your early barracks that won't be doing anything for a while, even if you floated it home, and make sure he's not doing anything. And that's why GuMiho... What is that? Fusion! Fusion core! Alright, we've had first Battlecruiser rush, but have we had second Battlecruiser rush? Wow. All right. Well, honestly, the Battlecruiser was... It's a very strong choice in general, but the Battlecruiser is one of the best ways to exploit Zerg greed. Yes, Queens can defend it, but they can't really counterattack, and as long as you make sure... Oh my god, he found the starport. So this is unfortunate. Is he gonna lose this start? Well, this could end before it started. He's starting Cloak. Like, it's totally a Banshee. You should back off, I guess. The Hellions come out, but he might just lose the Hellions and then the Tech Lab. You do get the money back. Like, I'm pretty sure Dark realizes that since nothing has come out, either GuMiho was ridiculously supply blocked, or it's a Battlecruiser. Well, this is just depressing. The Battlecruiser itself quite strong. The starport not... Okay, well that one was worse. Fool me once, and I won't be fooled again, as the great philosophers have said. Well, that was not the best battlecruiser rush I've ever seen, nor should it be considered a tribute, but... Dark 2-0. We're going into game 3. Oh, GuMiho. Could be in for a short one today. No? No, could you... where are you going? Come back here. What is he doing? This is the kind of day we're so the barracks into Battlecruiser rush, the BBC play, if you would. Well, Rax will finish. Starport, or sorry, Spawning Pool shares a remarkable amount of letters. With Starport. Though, that's kind of just how words work. How do they... I got the best words, alright? Many smart people say that in the YouTube comments. Like and subscribe. So, Reaper Proxy, Dark spots it. He's going to see the Reaper pop out as well, and have a bead on when GuMiho's expanding, so... nothing is hidden from Dark. Oh, wow. Almost gets it. He actually missed the shot. He could have killed that drone. He bounced it over the mineral patch. Which, a weird quirk of it, but doesn't end up finding the killing blow quite in time. These two, you know, I feel like these two have more fun with the game than pretty much anyone else. That's why I never hesitate to, even in mirror matchups sometimes, well, unless it's against Shell. He missed, close enough, I guess. Unless there's a bunch of Zerglings, and maybe some Banelings, in which case that's going to be very problematic. Unfortunately, there is a Baneling nest on the way, so... Well, if GuMiho tries to build an add-on, he probably just lost the... That ain't good. The Barracks Lord's coming in, though. And actually, that may be enough. There are Reapers. The Zergling speed isn't done. And the Barracks Lord will see even more Zerglings coming out. GuMiho may be able to hold behind his wall. There's 6 Banelings on the way. Now, this is gonna get weird. Let's make no mistake. This is very bad for GuMiho. But those are Banelings. So... might be like, well, what does that even mean? It means they die when they attack. And... oh, if only he could just auto-repair that depot. Cancels the ill-fated... Gotta target that Baneling! It does a lot of damage. There are 3 command centers. The Zerglings are in the mineral line, but the SCVs are making quite a fight of it. And... loses 1 Reaper, but 5 SCVs, a lot of them badly bruised. More Banelings coming in! He morphed them in the base! But he's gonna target the other one. There's 1 more Baneling cocoon. The SCV's on the run. Micro's to the right, to the left, but he takes down the last Bane! And GuMiho slides his way out of imminent defeat into a tenuous defense. Grenade's good. Bounces the Hellion out of trouble. The Reaper's helping out so much. And, well, the Hellion maybe was a little too big for its britches there. Another Baneling completes. The SCV gonna try to take it. It's in the middle of everything. He gets 1 more SCV. Several more are 1 Zergling claw away. The Zerglings keep coming and they don't stop coming, but GuMiho has held the line in an incredible defense. When it was all, everything on the table, every single unit that GuMiho owned was part of the fight. he holds with banelings at nearly point-blank range. He keeps his cool. And with 3 orbital commands, I think he's in the lead. The Barracks Lord, the real MVP. Surprised GuMiho doesn't have one SCV going around repairing. Like, get your band-aids. Get your band-aids over here. Because 2 Zerglings would ruin his mineral line. Dark has a tendency to get those lings in, too. Liberator, no shame. He just sieges it up! It's... What? How many shots, how many knitting needles do we need to bring? Susan, you gotta stop complaining, alright? The Terrans get the most annoying harass tools because that's a lore-accurate representation of Terrans as a people. You know, you make a very good point. We should explore the sociological implications of Terrans being transferred 500 years in the future, but not developing any better technology than my neighbor Bob. That's a little meta, Brenda, but just hold that thought. Another Overlord. Going to be back. Sure, yeah. All right. Why not? Down goes an Overlord to a Liberator, which technically has an anti-air attack. Double armory all the way. Roaches, cloak, armories. Not all at the same, not on the same side, but that should have been implied. Cyclone speed now on the way as well. But when you GuMiho could have survived with like 10 SCVs. That is why Baneling busts are so rare nowadays, because you have to eat so much into your own account. You have to kill them, pretty much. If you don't outright remove their ability to produce and have workers, the Terran will bounce back much quicker. Mules have that effect, and the defensive tools are just so strong. Dark, understanding that, knows that he's not going to get a better opportunity than just bashing down the door again. This time with a more conventional Ravager push. GuMiho will likely lose the wall in, but he's got Liberators at the back and a Banshee plinking away at the Ravagers. GuMiho, Dark not even really bothering. He fires off a volley of Ravagers at it, but he needs to go before he runs out of the Ravagers to one-shot Liberator zones. It's not enough. That's not enough. Hellbats. He's got the upgrades. No, that's not going to be it. The question is, does Dark go back home and macro it out? Or, he's got 11 more drones on the way. His Overlord's clearly rallied with the rest of his army as he was a Banshee speed. That's it. That's all I had to say about that. It's like, what else can I get? It's not Battlecruisers, but... All right, we're going. GuMiho's on the board. Dark choosing the most mind-bending timing to tap out. Was there anything else going on, or was he just like, nah? I didn't notice if there was another counterattack. Nope. Dark is just like, no thank you. I'd rather not. There's no other units on GuMiho on Dark's side of the map besides the Banshees floating across. Dark just says, you know what? All right, let's move on here. So, can't blame him for that one. Quite a series. Now, when we load into Game 4, how many SCVs will be headed across the map? Place your bets. Give yourself a little pat on the back. Give yourself a treat if you're right. If not, well, you're cursed to go watch the Beyond vs. Dark Grand Finals from 2016 that I cast 20 years ago. And see Dark get bullied by Terran some more. Spoilers, by the way. Remember when siege tanks could fly while sieged? No, we're not bringing it back. Don't get excited, Terran. And here we go. Site Delta. And the answer was 0, by the way. For the first time, GuMiho will keep his SCVs to himself. At least for now. I guess game 1, I guess on Oceanborn he didn't proxy a Rex. He proxied a Starport. And that was pretty much the end of it. That's an Overlord. Going about its life. Slowly but surely. Like a cloud in the sky. Disgusting, tentacled cloud in the sky. I think I've seen that anime. Not sure it's described it. Bull on the way. Going to be the most generic standard start this time around. Reaper. And Hatch first. Gonna go poke and prod. And to be clear, I think, well, if you're watching at this point, this far into the video, into the games, you probably already realize it. But the patch, the proposed patch, of which I have strong opinions about, is not on the live server. It is a proposed preview. The reason everybody talks about it like it's a patch that's gonna happen or has already happened is because historically, those patches have ended up... Oh, he killed a drone. How dare you. Those patches have ended up, for the most part, being what eventually ends up on the live server. Usually there's a 2 to 4 weeks. I don't know when the next SC2 season is scheduled for, and it's been a while since we were able to rely on that to tell when the intern would have their quarterly lunch break and decide to update the game. But it is not... Don't worry. You will know by the intense amount of clickbait that the games are on the new patch. All right? You'll know. Or it'll be mentioned incessantly in the first few minutes. You'll be like, I already saw that. Winter, why do you still do your spiel about likes and subscribes? I already am gonna like and subscribe. Well, for the first time you saw it, did you know it was a spiel? Or was it this clever thing this nerd did that a bit cringy, but you kind of got used to it? Well, I hope there's at least one person out there that this is the first time and they don't even realize. So the summary is, where did I start with that? Oh yeah, the patch. So, if it follows the trend of the last few, it'll probably be, the next big tournament is Home Story Cup at the end of November. 2024 if you're watching this when I have 1 million subscribers in 2030. Oh, let's aim higher, 10 million. Playing StarCraft 4. The, extraction shooter. You know, that's actually... kind of the most likely. Circling back to this Overlord. Just like the Viking that popped out, GuMiho, for the first time, not even bothering with a tech lab on his starport, but instead will issue the Battlecruisers and Banshees and Ravens entirely, and stick with Viking into medevac for... Is this a Hellbat? Is this... Wait, what? It's just a medevac for Marines? Okay, Clem. Huh. Zerglings continue. Yeah, no Hellbats here, but Hellbats aren't required to make this a dangerous option. But the queens coming together. Baneling nest is on the way. One queen just gonna get roasted. And the drones, the medevac just kind of sat there healing the few marines. So dies immediately. And the queen's moot gathers and drives back the Hellions. That was a bit odd. The Viking, there's spores on the way. 4 more racks, the production line. In the literal sense, coming together. Double engineering bay as GuMiho kind of opens up the how do I play bio book and start his Prima strategy guide. Is like, oh yeah, I need to make more barracks and engineering bays. Because it truly feels like he was banking up like 1,200 minerals and now needs to spend them. Who hasn't done that? I mean, Dark also kind of sprinting towards the next level of tech now that the early shenanigans are over. 6 barracks at a time. GuMiho doesn't hold back. on banking up minerals to be able to build 6 barracks at a time, but he still has a very solid SCV count. Even though Dark shut that down, it was partially because he cut workers in order to have enough defense, in order to continue building queens and have Zerglings on the ground. So Dark doesn't have that massive economic advantage that Zergs oftentimes enjoy. So, despite the kind of half-hearted nature of GuMiho's attack, it still served its purpose of keeping Dark busy and his economy limited. And, oh, no scans. Now the 4th base is on the way. But GuMiho's also getting his 4th, though, inside the main base. I love the orderly, like, look at GuMiho's main, just on the mini-map. Got barracks. Stim, combat shield, +1/+1, and a dozen Marines at a time. 2 dozen Zerglings to match it. Baneling speed is on the way. 1-1 for Dark. Infestation pit as he heads up towards Hive. We're in that lull in the action as both players just decided a mutual agreement to macro up. A Banshee ended up being built. The home defense Banshee, all right? Always keep one by your bedside in order to make sure no Banelings sneak in. Yeah, you might have a revolver, but I have a highly specialized gunship aircraft that can hover and cloak and strike fear in the hearts of your enemies. So, there are 2 different types of people. Hell yeah, brother. Hive is on the way. Burrow. Hellbats! Ah, we got there eventually. Armory +2. GuMiho putting together. He's up 15 supply. Dark does have 1-1 finishing. He's got Bane speed. He's got Burrow coming up. I'm not sure if Burrow's going to factor in too much, but those Hellbats still quite vulnerable to Banelings. This is just a lot of Terran. And GuMiho behind it. He's setting up his 4th and working on his 5th base. So, it's not like he's all in on this sort of push. That Hive, I guess it's for Ultras. He doesn't have a Hydra Den or Lurkers on the way, but that's not really relevant here. As the entire convention of queens comes together. He's got 9 of them. I think they're all pictured on screen here. That spread? Oh my god. GuMiho's going to 10 racks. Meanwhile, Dark is going to Ultralisks. Well, here we go indeed. Another big chunk of bio heading across. The Zerglings looking for an opportunity. No adrenal glands on the way. GuMiho very happy to just sit on Dark's front lawn and make it very... If you don't have... This is why you have Hydras, Roaches, Ravagers. Well, ranged units. Because otherwise, this army is remarkably cost-effective. Dark could crush it. But it would be incredibly costly compared to how much it costs GuMiho to just sit there with like 40 supply. And he has better opportunities. Now, if Dark moves too far away from his alternative base in order to defend this, then GuMiho can move in. But the Widow Mines, gonna get okay hits, but maybe hitting as many Terrans as they did Zerg. Gonna pull back. Big counterattack. 1 Reaper's not gonna be enough. The wall off is on the wrong side of things. Sensor tower gonna be targeted down. 4th base planetary will hold the line for now. Reinforcements. Widow Mines smashing everything underneath. Some Zerglings burrow because why not? Meanwhile, another drop on the left side gonna get caught out. Zerglings down the natural. 11 SCVs dead. 3rd base still under fire. And the medevacs were forced to pick up. Most of them still intact. Gunning down a few more lings. Burrowed lings absolutely everywhere. Burrowed Widow Mines as well. One of those is more dangerous than the others. Fusion core is completing. Barely even noticed because all the action. GuMiho dropped out again. Got evaporated by the Banelings. The Queens out in the center of the map. Zerglings are still burrowed. We're waiting for that unburrow. Adrenal glands might be the trigger on it. Another wave of Lings and Banes head towards the planetary fortress. I don't think it's gonna make it. The SCV's on the run. Coming back to defend. Zerglings unburrow. Planetary smash. Banshee not remotely close to enough. Maybe if he had 10 of them. More Zerglings. Just one unburrowed to work on the depot. He scans and deals with the Zerglings underneath. And, well, if you won't open the door for me, then I'm not even gonna bother. Another wave. Just the dregs of whatever was left. The Widowmines connect. Dealt with. Minimal damage. And those Zerglings are spotting the reinforcements. And in fact, some of the units are walled off by the depots at the natural. We do have 3 Ultras on the... open the door! Stop having it be closed! Oh, GuMiho. Trying to transfer SCVs, but the door is closed. And the SCVs... Billy! Jobs? Well... Job's finished! A lot of healing going on. You can hear over in stage right or left. I never understand how that works. Okay, everybody calm down. And now calm up. Here we go again. Both sides maxed out. Despite all the attacks, relatively superficial damage from Dark against GuMiho. As GuMiho still has, well, he had a lot of SCVs. But now the Ultras are chewing through GuMiho, and his religious exemption from going ghosts is putting him in a dangerous position here as we get further on. Another base taken down. Still more Lings burrowed. And GuMiho's on the run. Well, where does this leave us? Army supply in favor of GuMiho. 6 Liberators in production. Everything all over the place. But Dark... the income tab tells the story. If we really need to fall back to something, the income tab would probably be the place to be. Boosts everything. I think he may... The burrowed Ling, not quite enough vision to spot the medevacs. I think some Widowmines connected. Not quite gonna be enough, just splits off. Oh, he was trying to dodge the first mine and got smashed by the second. Wow. 46 Lings. Those 7 mines have been cleaned up. I think like 40 of those Lings to a single mine. A few from getting scanned at the back. Dark has 123 Zerglings. Which is quite a hefty number. He's got 3 Ultras going on 6, 3 more hatcheries. As GuMiho, this is not the sort of army that ages well. To his credit, he's playing without the ghosts, but also to his detriment. Without ghosts, you don't have a unit that you're really relying on to build up over time. The longer you sit back, the more ahead Zerg can get, assuming they have a solid economy. So it's going to be easier and easier for them to rebuild and smash your army, if not the first time, every time after that. Well, GuMiho is maxed out, though. There's so many Zerglings, and really not that many Banelings. He's going to be relying heavily on the Ultras. But again, without the Ghosts and without the Liberators nearby, it's going to be very difficult to actually fend off. Right, there's a Liberator, but the Zerg desperately tried to find a target for themselves, as there's so many, too many cooks. Viper's on the way. Drop will take out 1 hatchery. Those are changelings. 25 SCVs dead, which means GuMiho's army supply is massive. No idea what those overlords are. I have a good idea of what they're doing, as the drops will follow the wannabe drops. Meanwhile, another drop. GuMiho at 160 army. Well, a little bit less now. The Liberators are still... He never rallied his starports. Oh, no. GuMiho! He may die in darkness. Ultra's tanking the mine hits. They can take a pounding. Retreats from the base. GuMiho. This is like the equivalent of walling in your tanks, except it's more of an emotional thing. He could burrow some Banes. Well, also Widowbines will burrow as well. Takes out another Ultra. Here's the main army. But is that enough? No. No, it is not. The Ultras are closing in. He has to pick up. He has to get out. Vipers have full energy. One parasitic bomb could wipe this entire force off the map. Here come the Vipers. He whips out 2 bombs. And oh no, it's an absolute, utter, unmitigated disaster for GuMiho. The parasitic bombs. Medevac's followed up. The Banshee survived. 21 kills. Another base. The Queens are a bit late. An Infestor pops out, throws the fungal. But 2 Gs from GuMiho, who never really found that late game army he needed. Dark just deflected him. It doesn't matter the army supply if it can get cut apart with such ease. Dark with a decisive victory, though quite a series of fun games overall. I certainly hope you enjoyed. Make sure to support the Korean StarCraft 2 League if you do, and they do rely on it. You can find the info in the Patreon in the description. And if you got the means of motivation, you got another Patreon as well if you're interested in YouTube membership. Otherwise, liking and subscribing, still free, at least for now. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. I hope I made your day just a little bit better. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.